नाम लेने से मानहानि हो जाती है। ये भी बड़ी चिंताजनक विषय है कि ऐसे हालात क्यों पैदा कर दिए कि किसी भी मोदी का नाम ले लो तो उसमें मानहानि हो जाती है। चैलेंज किया जाएगा।
जो कोर्ट ने निर्णय लिया है, ये निर्णय उनके कृतित्व का निर्णय है। जैसा किया वैसा बोया है और ये अपना नुकसान कम कर रहे हैं, देश का और अपने पार्टी का ज्यादा नुकसान कर रहे हैं। दुनिया भी कहेगा कि भारत का अपोजिशन का लीडर कैसा, जो देश में जाता तो लोगों को गाली देता, विदेश आता तो देश को गाली देता। तो अभी तो शुरुआत हुआ है, जब देश को गाली देने का असर पड़ेगा तो क्या होगा।
Pallavi Ghosh, my colleague, joins us live. The Parliament is going to reconvene in just a short while from now. Over to you, Pallavi.
Yes, I'm not going to say much. We've got Mr. Manish Tewari joining us. Manish, first of all, your first reactions, because you're not just a Congress MP, but you're also a lawyer yourself. So what does it mean?
Well, obviously, the judgment would have to be studied in detail before a very, very holistic articulation can be made. Suffice to say that it is surprising because invariably in a defamation case, the court does tend to take a far more expansive view. But obviously, what are the reasons which persuaded the judge to award the maximum possible punishment under the law would really have to be gone into. And obviously, there would be an appeal, and the appeal would lie to the Court of Sessions, and the judgment would have to be, the conviction would have to be stayed because otherwise it has consequences for the membership of any elected representative.
Yeah, so they've gone in for that appeal. They're going to be waiting what the higher court has to say whether the conviction is going to be stayed. But if it doesn't, would you say it's the end of the political career of Rahul Gandhi for now?
Well, I don't think anybody's political career ends because a particular court has taken a particular view. There is a huge appeal process which has to be exhausted. But I am very confident that the Court of Sessions would consider the circumstances in their totality and definitely stay the conviction so that the matter can be heard out at length, because the balance of convenience in this case obviously lies with Shri Rahul Gandhi.
But the BJP says we stand vindicated. Every time Rahul Gandhi speaks out against the Prime Minister or against the Modi factor, this is what happens to him. So the BJP says Satyameva Jayate.
Well, I think it's too premature to start exulting and crowing. And unfortunately, if the Bharatiya Janata Party is going to use court proceedings in order to score political brownie points, that's a very slippery slope to skid on. And there is going to be a very animated discussion with regard to the larger implications of this order on free speech. Suffice to say that we are all awaiting the judgment in order to peruse it in great detail. But this would definitely have a chilling effect on free speech.
How can we say it's going to have an impact on the free speech? Because, it's not that the Congress governments or the other opposition political parties have not used it at their state level. I mean, the Rajasthan government has been guilty of this, Chhattisgarh also. There's a Lakshman Rekha, right?
Well, ultimately, if you recall, way back in 2013, I had actually mooted a proposal when I was Information Broadcasting Minister to decriminalize the defamation laws. And the reason why I had mooted that proposal at that point in time was because defamation is a civil wrong. It should not invite criminal punitive action. But as long as Section 499 and Section 500 continue to stay on the statute books, and somebody does file an appeal under those particular sections of the law, then the court arrives at its own decision. But suffice to say that in my humble estimation, this seems to be a very, very extreme view which has been taken. Why that view has been taken, We'll have to go into the reasons, and I'm very confident that the Court of Sessions would take a more measured and a more magnanimous view in order to ensure that injustice is not done while the appeal is heard out.
So last question before I let you go, is it also a lesson then for the Congress party whenever you have those personal attacks on the Prime Minister, it boomerangs? Chaukidar Chor Hai did. So for 2024, you need to rethink your strategy?
Well, I think, Pallavi, you need to look at the larger consequences because, when you sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind. Now, this is not only going to work one way. This is going to work in various ways. And I think people who have to be most careful are those testosterone-driven anchors where WWF takes place at 9 p.m. every night, which goes off as nightly news. So therefore, in more ways than one, and I'm saying it very, very seriously, in more ways than one, this is going to set a precedent which unfortunately, in my estimation, both as a political activist and a lawyer, is going to have larger implications.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. So we just heard what Manish Tewari really had to say. I mean, certainly he doesn't seem to be thinking it's going to boomerang on the Congress party.
Right, whether that actually